Welcome back. Welcome to our 6th day of Yuletide, when we focus on gifting to our house elves and acknowledge our supernatural allies. One of my favorite days. The elves, gnomes, little people, fairies, brownies, bogarts, hobgoblins, tomte, nisse, tontu, kobold, gardvord, heinzelmanchen, domovoy, pukis, schrat, haldi, dimes patis, barstucci, monacello, kellermanken, and trolls who live in and around your home should be given gifts today. From an ancient and animist perspective, your household spirit is regarded as a family member and treated as such. They do so much work for us. They help out with chores and yard work, watch over the livestock, and generally bring good luck throughout the year. I would like to believe this happens for other people and could someday happen for me. Because elves are of the earth itself and have such influence over the prosperity of the homestead, abundance of the harvest, and well-being of the livestock, farmers would often consider appeasing the elves even more important than a good relationship with the supreme deity. Personally, I have wondered if this later became the Boxing Day tradition of gifting to house servants. I haven't been able to find direct evidence for that, but it is interesting to me that Boxing Day gets its name from the Christmas box, given to servants in Old England. The day after Christmas was a holiday for servants, and they'd be given a Christmas box as a gift from their employer. They would also bring Christmas boxes with them as gifts to loved ones back home. And since pagans would gift their otherworldly domestic help on this day, kind of seems like a promising theory to me that this day evolved into Boxing Day. I've always wanted to attract a brownie to my house for obvious reasons. Brownies are part of Scottish folklore, falling under the category of domestic tutelary spirit, meaning they live in your home as a guardian and protector of your property. They usually help out with field chores as well as help you like find your keys or keep the dust bunnies at bay. They've also been known to perform great feats of supernatural aid to assist their chosen family. I've been told by a former archdruid that if I want to attract a brownie, I'll need to work really hard for it by making regular offerings, ensuring they feel welcomed and appreciated, being attentive, and taking care of my land and home. A couple of years ago, I made them a tiny replica of our house, painted with our actual house paint, and flowered wallpaper inside, and a home sweet home sign, and a little bed where they can sleep. In Finland, they say you can recruit a spirit of the land to become your domestic house spirit by making an offering and saying, "Hail Earth, hail spirit of the land, hail family member, hail family mother." And in that way, the Perkin Amanta, the little hostess of the family, will appear and get to work on your behalf. So apparently in some places, it's not so hard after all. In fact, in parts of Sweden and Finland, it's said that a house spirit can only enter your home if you invite them, and so sometimes they'll enter under some kind of ruse, like transforming themselves into a harmless object left by the side of the road. When you bring it inside, that's how they get invited in. So, you never know, maybe that free cycled item you picked up on the side of the road is more than just a decent-looking candle holder or a good-looking book in your local free little library. It could be more than just a page-turner. It maybe is bringing untold blessings and good fortune to your home in the form of a house spirit. Some areas of the home are more important than others and attractive to house spirits. Definitely the front door and entryway are places where we seek to welcome only helpful spirits in, but also keep the malevolent spirits at bay. So you might hang like a sprig of something welcoming, like an olive branch or a flower there, as well as something protective like mistletoe. The same goes for the lintel or the main beam that holds up the main room of your home. The front door or the panel beside it, or the entrance area as a whole, are also part of a place of congregation for household spirits. In medieval Norway, large wooden stakes would be carved to look like an old man, about the size of a 12-year-old, and placed near the front door of a home. This is where food offerings would be left for the Vata at Yuletide. Side note here, so the size of domestic spirits varies considerably. Some measure less than half a thumb, while others are the size of toddlers. Clothing habit varies as well, though blue, red, green, gray, white, and black seem to carry broad appeal to the little people. Tall pointed caps are also very common from place to place. Since ancient times, the hearth and fireplace have been considered central to the home, a place that links the living and the dead, and a symbol of ignis communio, communion with the essence of life and the soul of the world. This is a place in the home where spirits will congregate. In the old days, the only source of heat in any room was the hearth, hence the folk notion in Sweden that every room that is heated has its own spirit. In the Scottish Highlands, they believed that different types of fire signaled the presence of a variety of brownies. So if your fire was bright and yellow with big flames dancing, you had one type of spirit present. But if they were deep orange, smoldering embers in the charcoal, you had a different type of hearth spirit with you now. In some parts of Russia, the stove would be smeared with a small sampling of every part of the Yuletide feast, so the domestic spirit can enjoy the meal too. This harkens all the way back to ancient Rome, when the hearth goddess Hestia would be given the first bite of every meal by throwing a morsel into the hearth fire before anyone ate. The four corners of your home, inside and out, are also important. These are considered sacred space where we can communicate with the dead. Offerings to the guardian of your home and property can be buried outside in the four corners. These might include iron nails for protection from evil spirits, or plants such as hazel or mugwort for good health, or eggs for luck, abundance, and to share your wealth with your brownies. Very often, the back wall or a back corner of the house is where we place a shelf or table for worship to your household gods. Among the indigenous Aino people of Japan, the back left corner of the home is the seat of the domestic deity. There's evidence of ancient traditions throughout Western Europe of maintaining a small altar or a shelf or a cupboard in the back wall of the home where one would place food offerings. People also fabricated little icons like dolls or statues to look like their household spirit and placed them there as well. There were centuries of overlap between the pagan spiritual traditions and the Christian ones as Christianity spread, and so the custom was that if Christian rituals were performed, the household spirit dolls would be covered with fabric, as if to avert their eyes. A bowl of porridge with a pat of butter on top, or some rice pudding with almonds, whipped cream and sherry, seems to be a favorite gift of the little people of Scandinavia, but a simple offering of milk is also traditional. In Celtic cultures, they seem to enjoy milk too, but also beer, cider, or brandy along with some bannock. The Slavic house gnomes seem to appreciate the last few bits of the evening meal, and especially a slice of bread slathered in butter with a sprinkling of salt on top. In Germany and Switzerland, the Zimt is a feast for the household gods and ancestors, and a place is set before an empty chair at the dinner table. You can leave the offering out on the fireplace mantel or the dining table overnight or under a tree in the yard. After it has been left out for a while, the magical life force of the food is gone and can be composted or disposed of per usual. Remember that in most traditions, little people were not always benevolent, especially if they felt slighted or taken for granted. They are very easily offended, so gifting to our supernatural allies today is a very important observance to ensure smooth operations, good luck, good harvest, and good health around the homestead in the coming year.